Hey, and welcome to the Winning Daily Show. I'm Champ Chesterfield, and here are our plays of the week. We are going to start off in the Premier League, work our way through all the European soccer leagues that we got some plays in, then hit up a little week 0 college football. It'll be really interesting this week. We had a really good week last week in soccer, made about $2,500 in plays on that one. So good week. It continued today. I posted, picks of Friday's play, so we continued our hot streak in soccer. We'll see if that continues as we work in little college football before we get off the big start next week. But let's see what we got here in soccer first. Didn't love the set this week, so we got a lot of sort of small plays. We aren't going to be as aggressive as we were last week because I really liked some stuff last week, and this week I really just didn't like a lot, and I thought the odds were off on a handful of stuff, so we're going to take some shots at some stuff, but we couldn't be really as aggressive because I didn't have ones I trusted as much, so then we couldn't go after the long shots as much to cover those, so we're sort of in between this week. We found some stuff we like, so let's kick it off in the Premier League. The early game Saturday, Bournemouth-Tottenham. Didn't like any plays here, but anytime goal scorer, Dominic Solanke for Bournemouth at plus 230. Thought there was pretty good value there. He has a decent goal scoring record versus Tottenham. Tottenham continues to play open soccer, so look for Solanke to try to get on that scoreboard this week versus Tottenham, especially at home. Plus 230, really good value, so we're going to put a 0.25 of a unit there, so a quarter of a unit on that one. Everton Wolves, this ought to be a really non-entertaining game here, but we'll see what they do. Everton's got a lot of injuries. That being said, we're going to try to take advantage of that and see if they can grab a goal. I don't know if they can grab a goal. I don't know if there's going to be any goals in this game. A 0-0 or a 1-0 win on either side probably may be worth a little bit of a shot here, but anytime goal scorer, we're going to go with Danjuma, who seems to have sort of locked down that striker role. He's gotten in there when Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been pulled in both games. He got pulled early last week because of the concussion. They put Danjuma in there, not Neil Maupay. So look for Danjuma at the plus 280. Really like that. And then Decore for Everton, sort of the box-to-box midfielder, plus 380. With the way Everton play, probably look for a set piece. Maybe Decore can slide in there and get in one of those. He's usually about on his best days between 5 and 7 goals a year. So you're playing that maybe this is one of those times he gets one of those 5 or 6 goals on the year. Plus 380, decent value. We'll see if he can get one. Just a quarter of a unit on that. So quarter of a unit on Danjuma, and a quarter of a unit on Decore, both 280 and 380 for that, and then total under 1.5 plus 245. I thought that was way too high for a total for these two teams. I think there's a really good chance 2 goals do not get scored in this game. Everton has already played a 1-0 game. Wolves really first game, couldn't find a score. Got a little bit of a goal last week, but still, low scoring. Total under 1.5 to give me plus 245. Really think that's pretty good value here. Half a unit on that. Burnley, Aston Villa, we're going to keep riding our Ollie Watkins in the Conference League playoff. He had a hat trick, so I think he sort of found his goal-scoring form. He should have gotten one a week ago, but didn't quite get it. But Ollie Watkins, plus 165, half unit anytime goal scorer on that one. The big matchup of the week and one of the few really good games in the EPL. Really sort of poor slate. A lot of really good teams playing a lot of really bad teams. I think that's why I have so little. It's just the odds were all messed up. But Newcastle versus Liverpool, we're going correct score Newcastle 3-1. Correct score Newcastle 3-2. 14-1 on the 3-1, 17-1 on the 3-2. Quarter of a unit on those two. We'll see if we can hit that. See if Liverpool's defense can hold up versus Newcastle. We talked about it on our show Wager Zone, how sort of disappointed we were with Newcastle going into Man City and sort of just not playing attractive football, playing for that low-scoring draw. They're at home here, so let's see if they get a little bit more aggressive after that poor showing versus Man City. All right, let's go to La Liga. Have a couple of La Liga plays here, but once again, not a lot of action here, and the Liga's just been slow to start. Again today, that Real Madrid game was slow to start, but we're going to ride Sevilla. Once again, we took them in the week one. They disappointed us, but they played two solid games in a row. Granted, they've lost both those, but I think they get off the schneid here. Sevilla at home versus Girona. Sevilla only plus 105 on the three-way on that one, so we're going Sevilla plus 105, 1.5 unit play on Sevilla there. Villarreal, Barcelona. The total under 2.5 plus 126. Thought there was pretty good value there. If you've watched Villarreal, they always play Barcelona, try to play them to a low-scoring game. So you aren't going to get a very aggressive Villarreal. We haven't gotten an aggressive Barcelona in I don't know how long. It was a miracle they got 2 goals last week. But I think this has a chance to be a low-scoring game. Getting that plus 126 on the total on the under 2.5. Really, really like that. So Villarreal, Barcelona under the 2.5 plus 126. Half unit on that. A really good game in La Liga, or what should be a really good game. I know Bilbao played that stinker last week. We did hit that 0-0 tie, though. We knew Madrid was coming in there and going to try to stink that one up. But Bilbao, at least for themselves, tried to play football for at least a half there before they realized what was going to happen and sort of pulled back and made sure they at least came away with a point versus Madrid. But Bilbao, Real Betis, who's gotten off to a pretty good start here in La Liga, both to score minus 126, 1 unit play on that one. I think this will be a much more entertaining game. Real Betis always plays entertaining games, and Bilbao should be able to play a little bit more of their style of play here without Atletico Madrid mucking things up. Let's move on to Serie A. We're going to start off with a 2-leg parlay here. We're going to go Fiorentina and Juventus on the three-way here. Juventus got off to a good start, so did Fiorentina. Now, Fiorentina had a Conference League playoff game that they didn't play too well. They did play a handful of starters, but they pulled a handful of those guys. But I look for them to continue to get wins, especially here at home. So Fiorentina, Juventus, 2-leg parlay on the three-way, plus 137 is that value, 2.5 units on that one. Napoli, back at home here versus Sassuolo. Napoli got off to a great start. The Victor Osimhen parade last week of free under 200 goal scorer anytime really went away there. So not going to be able to get that value. It was a 1-week thing, but we're going to Napoli win both to score here in this one, plus 140. Napoli really has had Sassuolo's number the last couple of years and been able to put some goals on them. So I think Napoli wins this one pretty easy. It's if we can get that Sassuolo goal. I think Napoli will be a little bit more open than they had been, a year or two ago. So maybe Sassuolo can steal one there in Napoli. Laszlo versus Girona. Laszlo really didn't play well last week. We'll see. Back home, they're usually a pretty solid bet here. Girona been a little hot and cold towards this season. We'll see if they can go into Laszlo and win that. Laszlo minus 1.5 plus 170, half unit on that. See if Laszlo finds their form this week. And then, as always, if Laszlo's winning, Sierra Immobile's scoring goals. Basically, Sierra Immobile scoring goals no matter what. For Laszlo, anytime goal scorer, only minus 120, half unit on that one. So Sierra Immobile, anytime goal scorer, minus 120, half unit. Laszlo, minus the 1.5, plus 170. All right, let's go out to Germany and into the Bundesliga. Pretty fun game here. Freiburg versus Werder Bremen. That should be an entertaining game. Freiburg got off to a nice little start with a road win last week, 2-1. Werder Bremen played a pretty solid game versus Bayern Munich, just sort of dropped off there at the last 20 minutes or so, and Bayern Munich packed on the goals. I thought this was one of the few things that we found our value in here. A couple of goal scorers here for Werder Bremen. The one, Nicholas Füllkrug, plus 220. That's really, really high for a guy who puts in goals here versus a Freiburg team who tends to let in goals. But Nicholas Füllkrug, plus 220 anytime goal scorer. I think that's a great, great play there. Really good value if you're going to get that. He almost got one versus Bayern Munich. In fact, he did get one. It was just a niche offside. But I think with that value at plus 220, ride that there. 1 unit play on Nicholas Füllkrug. Anytime goal scorer. With that, the other goal scorer for Werder Bremen, Marvin Dukšis, plus 220. I thought that was pretty good value too. So you got almost 2.5 to 1 plays here on their two best goal scorers, guys who combined for about 35 goals last year. So if Werder Bremen's going to score, it's going to be one of those two guys. So you got pretty good value there. You can probably get one, so you at least win some money if you take both. If you might get both and really put it up. So Füllkrug, Dukšis, 220 anytime goal scorers, 1 unit on the Füllkrug, half unit on Dukšis. Win both to score. We're going to go with Freiburg here, plus 195, 1 unit. Like I said, I think this will be an entertaining game. Werder Bremen should be able to get a goal. Freiburg should be able to find a way to cut Werder Bremen open, especially here at home. So win both to score. Freiburg plus 195, 1 unit on that one. And then we'll go with the big H's. Heidenheim versus Hoffenheim. Anytime goal scorer, Andrej Kramaric, the Croatian big-time scorer, plus 170, half a unit on that one. This is the kind of game where Kramaric should be able to get a goal here pretty easy. So I like the value there at the plus 170 anytime goal scorer for him there. So that's what we got in the Bundesliga. We're going to move to Ligue 1. Got a couple of plays here. We're going to start out with Marseille versus Brest. Marseille struggled on the road like they did, like they usually do. Dropped a game they shouldn't have, but they're back home here. I think back home, at home, Marseille should be able to win it, but they always seem to give up a cheap goal. So Marseille, Brest, both to score, minus 128, 1 unit. I'm not going to be aggressive on Marseille here because they might just be a bad soccer team with a lot of sort of overrated players, but I do think both to score is a pretty good play at a pretty low price at minus 128, 1 unit on that. PSG versus Lens. Can't quite grab the PSG yet. They're odds are getting lower and lower. It might be a time to jump on them here in a week or two, especially if they can find that frontline striker and have a front line of Mbappe, said striker. Colomani still seems to pop up in rumors with Dembele, but right now I'm not trusting PSG, especially versus solid team in Lens, but I do trust Kylian Mbappe to get a goal. This seems pretty low here at minus 145, so anytime goal score, Kylian Mbappe, minus 145, 3-unit play on that one. We're going to double down on that. 2+ goals for Kylian Mbappe, plus 380, half unit on that. And to round out our soccer plays in Ligue, Clermont Foot versus Metz. Clermont Foot has had a slow start to the season, but they played two really, really good teams. I think coming back home versus Metz, who struggled on the road 2 weeks ago. I know they got that win at home versus Marseille, but you know how Marseille struggles on the road. Metz a better team at home, definitely, but they are coming off a 5-1 loss to Rennes, going to Clermont Foot. Clermont Foot needs to find their footing, and I think they do here, so I think you're getting a pretty good price here. Clermont Foot on the 3-way, minus 110, 2-unit play on that one. And lastly, Lorient versus Lille, both to score, minus 150. We're going a 2-unit play there. Can Lille get a goal here at Lorient? I think they will. I think this will be a 2-2, 2-1 type game. So like the both to score in Lorient versus Lille, both to score, minus 150, 2-unit play there. All right, let's go to our college football week. 0 hits, couple matchups we're going to get some play on. We're going to follow Dynamite David, that Navy Notre Dame game. Really like Navy getting the points there. 20.5 points in that one. Should be a low scoring run type game that plays quick. So 1.5 unit play on Navy plus a 20.5. With that, we're going to balance it out with a Navy Notre Dame under 49 play here. Like I said, I don't think there'll be many offensive plays or possession. Weird site for the game. Weather might be a little tricky. So I think that under 49, I'd grab that now before the start of the game because I bet it drops down to about 47, 46. Not as good a value there. But Navy Notre Dame under 49, 1.5 units on that one. So 1.5 on the plus 20.5 for Navy. And then on the total under 49, 1.5 units. UTEP versus Jacksonville State. Jacksonville State's first game as a real Division I football team here. UTEP goes there. I want to take Jacksonville State on that 2.5 plus at home. Can't quite do it, but it's supposed to be like 98 degrees there. I think that offense really starts flowing at over 53.5. If you're playing in games, look at the second half over in that one because I think the guys, one, first game, they won't be quite in good a shape. Two, it'll be so hot. They'll be having to really keep these guys hydrated and subbing on and off. I think a lot of big plays to come in the second half. So we're going over the 53.5, 1 unit play on that. But look in game, second half, total over on that one because I think that'll be pretty good value, especially if it's sort of a slow start in first half. I think that second half really kicks off. So look at that, make a play on that. UTEP Jacksonville State over 53.5, 1 unit play on that one. San Diego State versus Ohio. I think Ohio going cross country to San Diego State. I think San Diego State just is a better team here. I know they don't play pretty. They were really disappointing last year, and Ohio was sort of overachieving. They're probably one of the top teams in the MAC, but I just think San Diego State plays better football. I think you're getting really a beneficial line here in the -2 here for San Diego State, especially at home, especially with Ohio having to go across the country and play there. So San Diego State -2 over Ohio. San Jose State versus USC. We're going to make a couple of plays on the total here. First, we're going to take an alternate total of 72.5 at plus 174. We're going a half unit on that, and then we're going USC on the team total here, over 48.5, minus 111, half unit play on that. So that's what we got for week 0 of college football. Long list of plays. It should get longer as the weeks come. We're a week away from college football, 2 weeks away from the NFL. The slates are going to get bigger and bigger. We'll see if we can continue our nice run here in soccer. Be sure to like and subscribe. Watch all the content on the Greenlight Network, on GLN TV, on YouTube. Our man Dynamite David made his plays for the week. You'll want to watch that. You'll want to check out our shorts or TikTok video where we have our plays of the week. Like, subscribe. That's our show, and we're out.